Let's take a look at converting improper fractions to mixed numbers. So I always get this question all the time, and this is definitely a sub skill that you guys have to know, especially if you're learning how to add, subtract, multiply, or divide fractions. So how do I know that a fraction is improper? A fraction is improper when the number at the top is bigger than the number on the bottom, right? And most of the time when you guys are answering questions, you're not going to find your answers in this form. Sometimes you do, but not that often. More than likely, they're going to convert it to a mixed number. And a lot of people have a really hard time doing that, but it's a super, super simple process. We're just going to use long division to figure out how to do that, right? So we know that a fraction is another way of writing division. Can we agree to that? So 23 over 4 is the same thing as saying 23 divided by 4, right? So we're going to use long division to do our actual conversion, right? So we always know that the second number is what goes on the outside, and the first number is what goes on the inside, okay? All right, so I'm going to say 4 can't go into 2, but 4 can go into 23 5 times without going over. All right, 5 times 4 gives me 20. So I'm going to sit that here. We're going to subtract, and that's going to leave me with 3, right? So these 3 values that we have are going to be the numbers that we use for our mixed number. Whatever the value is at the top, this is always going to be your whole number. Okay? Whatever you have left over at the bottom, this is going to be the top of your fraction. And then whatever is on the outside is going to be the bottom of your fraction. So if you notice, the bottom of the fraction doesn't change from its original form. Okay? So we use these notes. Remember, a mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. So we know our whole number is 5, and our fraction at the top is 3, and at the bottom is 4. Okay? So when you guys convert from improper, which is here, this is improper. This is a mixed number. So improper means the top of my fraction is bigger than the bottom, and the mixed number means I have a whole number and a fraction. And you can do that through long division. So make sure you guys are good in here with the multiplication and division. If not, use your calculator to help you out. But overall, the concept is super simple. Whole number at the top, the remainder is, whole number is always going to be at the top. Our whatever is left over is the top of our fraction, and then whatever's on the outside is the bottom of our fraction or the original value. That's always going to stay the same. Okay. All right, let's try another example, just so we can see where you guys are. And you guys actually, when I put the question up here, you can just pause it and try it on your own, and then you can watch how I did it to see if you did it correctly. All right, so let's see if we have, I don't know, we'll do a big number, 92 eighths. Okay, all right, so we know this is improper because the number at the top is bigger than the number at the bottom. All right, and we want to change it to a mixed number, which is a whole number and a fraction. So we can agree that a fraction is the same thing as division. So I can rewrite that as 92 divided by 8, which means in long division form, the 8 is on the outside and the 92 is on the inside. Okay, we're going to do long division. So we're going to say 8 goes into 9 one time. 1 times 8 is 8. Subtract. We have 1. Then we're going to bring down our 2. 8 goes into 12 once. 1 times 8 is 8. Subtract, and we get 4. So we know that the number at the top is our whole number, right? We know the number at the bottom is the top of the fraction. And we know the number on the outside is the bottom of the fraction. And don't forget, the bottom of the fraction doesn't change from improper to mixed number form. Okay? All right, so if you're having a difficult time, that means you probably need to practice with your long division, because overall the concept is very straightforward, but you always want to figure out which part of the process is giving you a problem so that you can specifically work on that. So based on these numbers, what is my mixed number? What's my answer? So what's my whole number? 11. Draw my fraction bar. What goes at the top of my fraction? 4. What goes on the bottom of my fraction? 8. So when you guys are doing these conversions, anytime working with fractions, you always want to make sure your fraction is reduced to its lowest terms. So if I look at 4 and 8, I can reduce those, right? So you always want to think, what's the biggest number I can divide by these numbers to make them smaller? Well, I know I can divide 4 and 8 both by 4. Okay, which is going to give me 1 over 2. So the final answer is 11 and 1/2. And again, this is an example of converting improper fractions to mixed numbers, where improper means the number at top is bigger than the number on the bottom, and a mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. So if you guys are working with adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions, you definitely need to know how to complete this conversion.